What is up, everybody? We are back, like I said I would, once again for another episode, 2 in 1 day of the ABJ Podcast. We are zooming along here, closing in on that episode 10. It's been a fantastic experience. I had one guest come down with a cold, and two people have stepped up. One of them, someone I've known for a while, and one I know nothing about. So I'm super excited for that conversation. But before we get into that, links below for my stuff and ways to support, as well as my guest. But the big thing I want to definitely bring up tonight is we have two talents in the Northeast area who have been working their ass off to entertain all of us, putting in the time, putting in the effort, and they also do have some shoot jobs, and that's under a little bit of stress right now because both of them have just got injured. One was working injured for a while and just recently had knee surgery. The other one unfortunately got hurt over the weekend, broken collarbone. Is going to be out at work for a while. So in the links below is links for Philly Mike Swanson and Adina Steele. They have subscription services, they have merchandise pages, and they have ways that you can support them by buying and supporting them. Please do so if you can. If you can't, even just share their stuff out, follow them on social media, give them some positive encouragement, let them know that you're thinking about them. Because one of the scariest things in this business is having to step away for a short time because of an injury or maybe personal things. Because a lot of times when you step away, you feel like the rest of the world's going to forget about you, and they work really hard to build up themselves as a talent and as a brand. So please, if you can, support them with anything you can do. But like I said, all the links below if you want to grab some ABJ merchandise. But if you are the first time here listening or hanging out or joining the live stream, the chat is open. You can ask some questions. As well as please hit that like and subscribe. If you're listening on the audio platforms later, leave a review. Spotify, I just added a review tab that you can do that, as well as Apple. A 5-star and a written review helps out the channel a lot. And I'm going to start reading reviews on future episodes so I can get some awesome feedback of what you guys thought of the episode. I think that's all I got for the housekeeping stuff. Also, intro music and outro music, Billy Trey, the Converse Kid. So links below if you are a talent or podcaster, anyone, if you need some music, hit him up. He's very talented. And maybe you could hit up my guest here too as I bring him in because he's a great musician as well as a professional wrestler. Got to see him this weekend at Shore Star wrestling for the championship against Vincenzo. Let us bring in our guest and let him introduce himself to you guys.
Hey!
What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother?
I'm excited. Let the people know who you are.
I am Lukas Finnegan from Rahway, New Jersey. And in 2 days marks my decade in the wrestling business.
Look at you, a decade in.
You know,
okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I learned watching a video about being a better gentleman that if you've done something for 10 years, it is more important to say decade because it sounds a lot more fancy.
It sounds way cooler. Yeah.
Right?
It sucks, man, because like I've maybe dove into the independent wrestling scene a couple years ago, and it's insane how people kind of get trapped in just what's on TV on wrestling, or they get trapped into what's local to them. So
yeah,
like if you're like for me, Northeast Pennsylvania, we are spoiled with riches of talent. And then some people break through from like New York or Jersey or even like other parts of PA and come in and work a promotion. But like I've been fortunate enough to start traveling all over the place and working in different areas of PA as well as Jersey and New York. And holy shit, everywhere in the Northeast area is just filled with talented people.
There's a lot of us out there. New Jersey especially, like I want to say even like a month ago there was a show going on and we had a decent crowd and we were just like, I could have sworn there was going to be more, we had a good promotion stuff. It turns out there's like 4 or 5 other shows running that day in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Half the roster was double shotting to go to the other shows. So it's
I think that was
right.
What was it like? I because I drove Mike to a show, and that was like when I first started feeling like I was getting my cold, and I was like, I'm staying in the car just in case. And I think what they worked that night was LTW.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that the name of the promotion?
Yeah. LTW was going on.
But that was a night where there was like 5 other things going on at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, how did you get into this crazy business that we call professional wrestling?
So
over a decade ago.
Right. So I always loved wrestling as a kid and stuff like that. And, you know, I would have a bunch of friends come over and on the front lawn, we had just a railing just that would go along the sidewalk, and we pretend that was Royal Rumble. We'd throw each other over the railing and stuff like that. We pretend to be some other wrestler that was coming back, that was going in and everything. So I've always loved wrestling. My brother turned me on to WCW first before WWF. So I never got to watch any of the older Hogan, like the Hogan stuff or any Macho Man or anything like that. As far as I knew, the only Hogan was the NWO black and white Hogan. That was the only Hogan I knew when I was a kid. So,
well, you got a little bit of Hulkamania in the early stages of WCW.
Yeah, but
like Nitro, yeah.
From when my brother because my brother controlled the television, so you know, if he turned it on and it was on, then that's what we were watching. So when he was watching wrestling, I only saw Hogan NWO.
Okay.
And then high school, I had a couple buddies that were like training. My one buddy, Nick Gregory, he started training at IWF in New Jersey, and he would go on like he was a lot older. As funny as it is, when he transferred to New Jersey, they held him back like twice for whatever reason.
That's embarrassing.
So senior year, he was like 20. And we were all like just turning 18 and stuff. We're like, look at this geezer. You know,
Yeah.
It's cool.
I graduated a kid who was old enough to drive to our middle school graduation and old enough to drink at his high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was killing it.
But so he would go, and then his cousin built a ring out of a trampoline and some ropes around like a tree and his pool deck. And he was like, yeah, come by. Well, we're wrestling. We're doing backyard wrestling. And it's like, okay, I'll check it out. And did that stupid madness for like 2 years. And then my mom saw a video and was like, you're fucking out of your mind. You're going to kill yourself. So I didn't do that for a while, but I still hung out with everybody. So Nick is how I met Chris Steeler. Chris Steeler, Vic Voorhees, Jay Blaze, Travis Blake, a bunch of people from IWF, Fala, and I just kept in touch with them. And I want to say like a couple years down the road, I started going with them to shows, and they were like, "Hey, you know, if we get there early enough, you can get some ring time, and we can like help train you and teach you some stuff." So I'm like, all right, you know, that sounds cool to me. And, but it was very crash course. It was very like not formal training or anything like that. But, apparently I had met Ref Ryan T at a Halloween party in 2012, because it'd be a decade. So in 2012, and I was like, hey, I've been kind of, you know, training to be a wrestler. He's like, oh, I'm a wrestler. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I can get you on a show. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. So he gets me on this show at UWA Elite in South River. This show was at the Metuchen Sportsplex, and it was an 8-man tag. And that was my first match. And I actually rewatched it today just to see. And I was like, wow, I was fucking terrible, but I was thinner. So that was good. I was thinner, but like actually watching the match, I was like, wow, I shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah.
But I let that training kind of coast and like kind of learn things on the fly and as I went along and stuff like that, and not the right way. And it wasn't. And then so giving you the whole history real fast. About 2017, I was in a band and I was like, hey, we're going to make an album. We're going to see how good it does. I'm going to step back from wrestling. And everybody was cool with it. Everybody understood. Album did not do well. And then I kept getting offers to come do like one-off matches here and there, one-off matches here and there. And then I was about to start going full back with UWA, and I had like 2 or 3 matches, and then COVID hits. And it's like, well, shit. And then we get our first like 2 stimulus checks. And then I see WrestlePro, Creative Pro New Jersey, put up a open house. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this the right way. I'm gonna go get really trained at a real school by people that know what the fuck, like know how to train people. No offense to my friends, but
Yeah.
like, they're not
Creative Pro knows what they're doing.
yeah. They're they got fucking champions on television right now.
Yeah, right. They have the world champion and the tag team champions, right? Well,
Exactly.
one half of the tag team champions.
No, because both of them. Because
Did Bowens come out of?
Bowens was New Jersey, Castor was New York.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go, both of them.
So
I just interviewed a Creative Pro on somebody else's show last night. Leo Sparrow.
I love Leo.
Yeah,
Leo's great.
Yeah.
I started training with his tag partner GKM.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So
I'm also a big VSK guy. I'm a big VSK
yeah,
guy.
VSK. Yeah. So dude, I was like, I'm gonna do this the right way. I'm gonna shell out the money. And dude, it's been so eye-opening how shitty I was. Like to learn everything like correctly and like even just the way you hold your hands in a headlock, the way you stand, the way you get up, the way you just like up and over.
How many bookings did you take from the beginning of your career till you decided to step
away.
step away and then almost back in, and when you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and do this Creator Pro thing?
Probably too many than that I should have. I probably worked at least once or twice a month for 5 years.
Because the reason I say that is there's people who work for, let's say, 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And they get to the point where like, well, I've already been in the ring. The ego kind of steps in, or that I'm the veteran status, or I've done this steps in. Or you have those guys who they've worked for so many years, they don't get it. They don't jump into a seminar. They won't go back for training. The only training they do is at a gym. So for you to kind of put yourself back in a situation where like, no, I'm going to go to a wrestling school and reestablish myself. It says a lot for your character.
Thank you. It was very it was a confidence thing too, because I'm never a cocky person. Like I'm never, I'm so humble. You know what I mean? But
most humble guy you ever met.
Fucking humble. But I was never very cocky about anything. I was always trying to learn more and I'm a very hands-on learner. So like sometimes, and like I don't know if it's ADD or whatever the hell it is, but like,
amen.
I'm very like, if you fucking take my hand and move it for me and show me, hey, this is how I do this. This is how you do it. I can learn that 100% more than just like, all right, you see that, do that. So kind of stripping all of what I knew away, I was just like, put me in the beginner class. I need to start over from scratch, headlocks, lockups, bumps, just getting up properly. I want to know the ins and outs of how to do everything correctly and consistently.
Yeah. Now, who runs the New Jersey one?
So Pat Buck. Pat Buck runs Pat Buck runs the New Jersey one. Brian Myers runs New York. Pat Buck will go up to New York sometimes. If Brian's busy. And
Pat Buck, man, what a work ethic on that guy.
Yeah. Tell me about it. He definitely.
He did a speech at the Contest of Champions, and he says, everyone here is doing this tryout, and I want you guys to know it took me 15 years to get signed.
Yeah.
There's keep grinding.
He's really good at being completely honest and not sugarcoating anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, I remember him telling a story about like, him paying for seminars that he'd go down there and they'd barely teach a headlock, and then the guy would just talk to you for fucking hours and be a waste of money. Yeah. So like, and he was very realistic when he was working for WWE. He told us while we were training, he's like, hey, just letting you guys know right now, WWE is not looking for anybody under 6 foot or 6'1", and nobody nobody over the age of 27. And here I was, 32, 33, 5'11", going, well, what am I doing then? You know what I mean? But it becomes one of those things like, how much do you love actually doing this? And how much do you, because for the most part, I'm a big weekend warrior guy, like I'll book something on a Saturday. Sometimes I'll double book myself with music too. Like if I can wrestle, if the show starts at 6, if I can wrestle by 8, and if the show's not far away, I can have all my music stuff in my car and just go right to the venue and then play from 10 to 1:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? So
I love that.
It's one of the, and I think maybe it's an endorphin thing.
If you ever double book yourself, I'll probably hate myself and die on the way home. But I want to watch you wrestle, and then we're gonna go immediately to the bar and watch you play music.
Dude, I tried to get my buddy whose legal name is Tom Green.
I love that.
One of my best friends that I met freshman year of high school that I'm still friends with.
I just watched when he airbrushed the lesbian sex scene on the hood of his dad's car.
Man,
his dad took the bus and he would not drive the car.
That one, or I loved the he'd follow the pizza delivery guy and try and upsell somebody else a pizza, but he'd pull out the toppings out of a tackle box.
Yeah.
He'd have a tackle box full of toppings. Like, what did you want? Did you want extra cheese? You wanted extra cheese?
He's now like a big TikToker. He's always live on TikTok talking.
He was doing stand up a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Man. I miss Tom Green.
But I was trying to get my buddy Tom Green to kind of make like a little like mini documentary of a day that I had a double shot of, just like here's what my day is like as a musician and a wrestler. Not trying to like be like, oh, look what I can do. But like, like this is to try and do two things that you love at the same time without giving anything up.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to like, cause like I'm in 2.5 bands, and I say half only because the one rarely plays. Mm-hmm. But I'm in 2 bands. They're both from around here. So right away, it's whoever books me first. And then on top of that, whatever wrestling company asks me to be on a show or I'm already booked for or anything like that, trying to manage the time. And sometimes it can be hectic. Last show I was on was an SWF show, and it was running a little late, and I had another show to go to. Luckily, the show was close to home, so it wasn't too bad. But I get anxiety about being late to anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm the first guy at a party. I'm I'm the last one to leave. Like,
that's me everywhere. My wife hates it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get there and there's nobody else. Like, they're still putting out appetizers, and I'm like, good. I get the shrimp first. Now we're talking.
Yeah. you fuck up all the shrimp before they're like,
exactly.
This guy's an asshole.
This piece of shit. Yeah. Well, I showed up, but
do you think it's an ADD thing? Because how you said earlier, as I definitely have ADD. Like, I was diagnosed as a kid, but never treated.
Me too. Yeah. So the thing about, this is I want to know. We're going to take a sideways track from this because I want to know how they tested you, because I'll tell you how they tested me, but I want to know how they tested you first.
All right. So I think I had to do like puzzles.
Okay.
And then like some type of paper test. When they tested me, I think I was like in the 4th grade.
Okay.
I was really young. And the reason I was tested is I had this teacher who was a very, very, very old school teacher, like to the point where like I think she got fired the next year because she called us all stupid and idiots and stuff. And I'm just like, on top of ADD, I have no filter. So like if something is upsetting me or something is said, I would just like, what are you talking about? Like, well, you said, like, I would remember everything too. So she's like, you're stupid. And then I would fail a test. And she's like, you failed the test. I'm like, I know, because you said I'm stupid. And they're like, get to the office. You know what I mean? Like, I would throw it back in their face. But if I'm not interested in the topic, or if I can't learn the same way, like you're saying, if you just like tell me to read something, I'll read 3 lines of it and I won't absorb any of it because I'm not interested in what I'm reading. And they put me on everything, and they were gonna they made me do all the tests, and then they're like, well, here's the pills you have to take every day. And being an early 90s kid, pills and drugs are bad. You know what I mean? I've seen it all over TV. So I literally looked at them and go, I'm not taking those because I don't take drugs. And my parents are like, if he's not taking it, we're not forcing him to. So I just went my whole life untreated with ADHD.
Oh my God. So that's awesome. So what happened to me was I was probably around the same age, I think, or maybe a little younger, but I was always getting very frustrated when I couldn't learn something, and then like the teacher would kind of either move ahead or I would space out, and then like the teacher would kind of like slam her hand on the desk or whatever like that and freak me out. And I used to cry a lot as a kid. Fucking, I was crying. I was a fucking.
I was very emotional.
Yeah, I was very emotional. So keep it down. Be a man.
And then you hit high school. Are you a violent psychopath?
I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But so
I wanted to punch everything.
So when my mom brought me to the child psychologist or whatever the fuck it is, they sat me in the room with the doctor guy, and he would ask me like a bunch of questions. And, you just kind of all right, well, there's nothing else to do other than answer these questions. So I'll just answer these questions. And then he points out a fucking, like a toy chest. And he's like, you want to play with those toys over there? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I want to play with the toys. You're better than talking to you. And I'm playing with the toys, and he would ask me more questions, and he would gauge my responses and how long it took while I was playing with these toys.
Yeah, they gave me blocks and Legos, and then they would have me ask. So when I got tested, it was by they came to the school and tested.
Okay, no, I went to like some weird like institute type place, but yeah, they like made me play with toys, and they asked me questions while I was playing with these toys, and they were just like, "Well, he's not paying attention. He's not." Well, yeah, because you're fucking boring, and I got fucking He-Man over here. Like, why would I respond to you?
Oh my God, you're flooding my brain back. Yeah, so they literally handed me blocks and Legos, which was a creative process to I could do things. Yeah. And they're like, yo, here's the blueprints and schematics of how to build a car.
Yeah.
And I would look at the schematics, and they're like, so Tony, like, we're gonna tell you a story, or like they would talk to me while I'm just like, I don't care what you're I got a blueprint here. I got
and they're like, oh, he has ADD, give him pills.
Yeah.
And they're like, so luckily they tried to say that to my mom, and my mom was like, I'm not putting him on any fucking medication. Are you out of your mind?
Yep. Same thing with my mom. Yeah.
So luckily my mom was, our moms were very smart to be like, no, I'm not going to give him any medication.
That was a generation too, where they're just forcing ADHD medication on every single kid. Did you get fluoride tablets in school too?
I don't think we had tablets. I think we had to go to the nurse and have a cup.
It was like a pill or like a cup or you chew it, like a chewable.
Something.
Yeah, I used to. Is the correct term boof it, where you would hide it? I would hide it in my lip, and then I would spit it in the toilet.
It is now. I'm using that.
I heard that on a prison show.
I'm gonna boof it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but but I would hide it in my lip and then go spit it in the toilet.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was a cool side quest.
So so
double shooting wrestling shows.
Right, as I say. So for me, it's I think it's the dopamine or the endorphins or whatever correct term is it for you getting high on your own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if I give up one of these things, I'm just going to feel so fucking empty. You know what I mean? You
created something and you put time into it, and to walk away from it is crippling to you.
Yeah. So when I originally left in 2017, it fucking sucked. And I was granted, I was still playing band shows and stuff like that. And
another person got fluoride. You were all fluoride kids. Look at this.
Right they're okay. So there was fluoride. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one of those things, man, when I gave that up the first time, and I even I sold my boots to Dirtbag Dan. I was
you don't want those back.
Right. No. But I was done. I was done. And the band I was with at the time, like it was fun and everything, but it was kind of getting stale. Even after we just made the album, like things were just kind of just falling apart slowly, uh, and then I was getting like little offers here and there to go back for like a match here or a match there or whatever. And then like I do it and I'd be like, oh fuck, I missed this. Like this was so much fun and everything. And then yeah, so because even when the pandemic hit, it was both. So I had just left that band that I just saying it was getting stale with, and I just joined a new band. And I was just coming back to wrestling. So I was just starting to do both of these things. Pandemic hits, shuts everything down. Luckily, the new band I was with, practice studio is the singer's house. So no practices stopped, and we actually got pretty tight and pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used my money to go to WrestlePro and learn how to do everything the right way. And dude, it was such a sigh of relief to know that like I'm not really shitty at these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a couple of buddies like when I was starting at WrestlePro. Like I still remember how to do some stuff right. And like at least creatively I could kind of maneuver stuff and building a match and whatever. And I had a lot of the guys there being like, "Oh, I want to work with him. I want to work," like, and that was a big confidence boost to me to be like, not be one of the shitty kids in class. You know what I mean? That's just like, oh, I hope I don't get paired up with him for this exercise or this drill or whatever like that.
It's like I pick you, and you're the last one. Like
Exactly. Like, yeah.
last kid in gym class.
Oh, I'm happy I was never that last kid in gym class.
I always was.
Were
Always.
you?
Yeah. I was always really, 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 really undersized. I had
Okay.
really, really big glasses. I had always, because I'm Italian, so like my hair looks always greasy. I was not the most, but I was insanely athletic. And
Yeah.
I had heart and determination that no matter
Yeah.
what sport we played, I was going to be one of the better ones there. So we would play a sport and they'd be like, yo, this guy is
Yeah.
underrated. And then yeah. So I would always get picked last, but that would never happen again after.
Oh shit. But yeah, man, like knowing that people have confidence in me and stuff, or people seeing my progress and noticing that I'm getting better and that I'm putting the work in and I'm not just coasting or I'm not trying to big league anybody. Like I said, it's my decade in the business or whatever. But like at no point have I ever been like, oh, I don't need to learn that. Oh, I don't need to do this. Oh, I don't need to do that, because it stunts your growth as a person and as a wrestler. Yeah. Like you don't realize, like at least the fucking big leaguers don't realize like how much knowledge is left on the table that you're just kind of, even if it's just the smallest, like I forget what I was watching, but like it was like the difference of doing this in a headlock and doing this and then fucking, what is it, locking the pinky in the hand and like stuff like that. Like you just skip over. Like people just like say, oh fuck it, who cares? It's just your hands.
I watched a really good seminar with Davey Richards where he did stuff like this seminar that Davey Richards did was all about the hand grips.
Yeah.
And he was legit teaching people like not how to shoot on people, but the difference between making submission look real and how to put it in properly, but also like don't do it this way because you can shatter someone's leg.
Yeah.
Like it was an insane seminar to watch. It was
that's
really
what I'm saying. Like people that don't like, I wish I could go to more seminars. If there's ever a seminar that I can make, I will make. But like, that's another thing. I miss out on a lot of stuff because of band stuff. And I miss out on a lot of music stuff because of wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
So like even just regular events. I remember my girlfriend had bought me Letterkenny Live tickets last year. COVID lockdown in New York. They shut everything down again for like that couple months or whatever like that. It got rescheduled to a later date. I already had a wrestling show booked. And it's just like fuck, I'm sorry. Like,
I didn't go to a best friend's wedding because of a wrestling show.
I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah.
It depends. It's also one of those things where it depends. Like, it depends on the promotion. Depends
for
on
me
the
with commentary. I feel like
Commentary is different, I think.
Maybe for me, I don't know if it's just an unhealthy mind state to have, but
Yeah.
I'm always the person that's like, as a content creator, as a commentary, as anything, I feel like commentary doesn't get taken seriously enough already in this business, and I'm trying to change that by being good and working hard at it. And obviously working with like people like Pete and my buddy BP and stuff like that has been a huge change. But like,
Well,
I feel if I don't show up, somebody else is gonna sit there
take your
and they
spot.
may be better or they may have a good night, and I'm
gotcha.
never back again. So
I hear you.
I can't give that seat up because I may never have it again.
And here's the thing, though, like if the match is being taped and there is commentary, the wrestlers are waiting for that video to drop because they want to hear the commentary. At no point is a wrestler not taking commentary seriously.
Yeah.
Some commentators on some of the promotions around might just be like, oh, whatever. Oh, here's this. Like just doing some lackadaisical, just barely putting any effort into it or anything like that. But like wrestlers pay attention and wrestlers are excited when there's good commentators because they know when they watch that match back, it's more exciting to them because they get to hear what you're saying, how you're reacting to the crowd's reaction, how you're reacting to, the moves and the build of the match and everything like that. So every wrestler is always super excited for
Shore Star is probably one of the first promotions I worked for, besides like a few other ones where like the talent would reach out to me or they would make clips of their match and use what someone said on commentary or what I said on commentary in the caption of the video. One of the first person to do it was Vinny. Vinny's like, and I was like, dude, you know how much that like makes me feel good? He's like, dude, not only are you good at calling the story, but like the way you throw your humor in there or say something funny or like, because like Jersey's the first place that I've really like cut my teeth on trying to do a little more heel commentary. But even doing the heel, I don't like to always stick to the traditional to it. Like any commentary, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be the first me. So I bring something different to the table. But like even heel, like there might be a heel in the ring that I'll hate on. And it's like, well, you're a heel, you're supposed to like him. Like, no, I'm my own heel. I pick and choose who I like. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't really follow blueprint. Like Bad Company, I hate. Like, and like I love them, but in commentary, I tear them apart. But I love Pete Corvus, and he's a part of Bad Company. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, there was a couple guys there that were fun to like even just bullshit with in the locker room. Like, because those, like, I want to say like 70% of the guys that were in the back for that show, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I always love
fun promotion. I hope you keep coming back to it. It's a really,
I hope so too. I mean,
the locker room's really good, and the environment there is really good.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and like a lot of my family's down there, so like, and it's hard to make wrestling band. Like it's hard to make time to even see family that you haven't seen in a while. So like for me to be able to go down there, and they had never seen me wrestle before live, so it was nice to be able to. Oh God. But it was nice to see everybody down there, that because I hadn't seen them in probably maybe 2 years at that point.
Now here's a question for you, just like on a mental level, because I know this would drive me crazy. So you come into a promotion, that they're only 3 shows in, so they're still kind of new as well. But you're not an established talent on the show, and so the like commentary myself who don't really know much about you, or the fans itself don't really know you because they haven't. You're the new guy coming in, but not only are you coming in new, you're coming in for a championship match, and you're coming in on the main event.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that mentally of saying like, how do I win the crowd over? How do I earn that? Like earn my spot in this match to say that I deserve to be in the main event.
So it's tough. I think for me, it was Chad had trust in me. Vinny had trust in me. And I'm pretty sure Vinny was very quick to vouch for me and be like, yeah, it'll be worth it. It'll be fun. And I want to say that like people, like I was saying before about like me getting retrained and stuff and people seeing that I've been putting the work in. I want to say that the promoters that may have, did I cut out real quick?
Yeah, you're good. You're back.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The promoters that may have overlooked me back then and stuff, they see that I've been working a lot more steady now, that I've gone to WrestlePro, and for any kind of local guy or indie guy around here, at least, if WrestlePro is gonna book you, then you're trustworthy,
Yeah.
because WrestlePro doesn't just throw anybody out there, especially on their Fight TV pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I've been very fortunate that they've seen that I've put the hard work in and everything, and that they've let me on their shows. So I want to say that if hopefully that just promoters and other feds out there and stuff are also see that. And
Yeah. The match was fantastic. I
thank
loved
you.
it. Yeah, I really,
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. I did get some notes from Pete because I was setting some stuff up. We got there a little later than we wanted to because we had a lot of twists and turns to pick people up and get people
Yeah.
to the show. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, even without knowing really anything about you. Even in this interview,
Yeah.
you won me over in the ring, like you're winning me over here in this interview.
thanks,
Like
buddy.
I want to see more. Like, I want to see more of you on the scene, and I hope you get to get more work on for places that we could work together. But yeah, that's the things I look at like on a show. Is like, oh well, someone's coming in, and they're like, I know the title. I'm not being rude about this, but like it's
Yeah.
a prop, it's a title belt. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it is like, because I just won a championship at UWA Elite. The
listen,
Iron
if I
Man.
want a belt, if I want a title, I'd be super stoked about it. But
Well,
in the
that's the
grand
thing.
scheme of it, like it's
Well, it's. I don't feel like prop is a good word. I feel like
maybe kind of look at wrestling as theater too much.
maybe it's. I
Yeah.
feel like for me, it's a celebration of someone's hard work.
Absolutely.
And
So that's how like I feel like people in the business see it.
yeah,
But
it's
like people like outside of wrestling fans, they like if someone was listening to this and they don't watch wrestling, they're like,
yeah.
who cares about your fake fighting and you're holding a title belt? But
Yeah, but
for
that
us, it's
person's also wearing a Marvel t-shirt. So
yes, exactly. Love that. But yeah, how you're saying it is the hard work of what you put in and the
yeah,
company
and like
trusting you to be the brand of their
yeah, exactly. So like, if you work your ass off and the company sees that you're working your ass off and the fans see that you're working your ass off and you're putting on good stuff, then it's the title is a reward for your hard work, and
yeah,
it's a celebration of like all that you've done leading up to that point. And I feel like and sometimes, yeah, like if it's a new company and it's just like, who do we trust that we could put this title on from the get-go, to like, he can really bring people in, he can put on good matches, he can whatever it is. Like, even that's just, it's even if it's a new promote, like, I don't know, well, when Vinny got it, but the fact that
day
he
one.
has it, that's what I'm saying. But the fact that he has it from the get-go is like a high honor,
I
because
will give this man his roses, and I do all the time.
yeah.
I privately messaged him the next day after the show,
Mm.
behind the curtain a little bit. Chad, who runs a lot of it,
Yeah.
wasn't able to make it. Like he books a lot. Um, Donovan wasn't able to make it, who was supposed to be like the guy who in the locker room was going to help everybody and step up, and it fell to Vinny.
Mhm.
And Vinny's not only the champion of the company, but he's
And he's
also another
yeah.
locker room leader. He's been around a long, long time, and he didn't stress,
Yep.
never got worked up. Everyone on the roster, he kinda said, "Hey, I trust you. Do your thing." And
Well,
and he is such a locker room leader in the fact that he he sets a tone of being proud of the company he's working for.
mhm.
He sets a tone of, "Hey, this is why you're here. You're good at what you do. Don't overstress it. Go out and have a good time, work the crowd." Like, he just sets a tone and an energy that's contagious, and he's an amazing locker room leader.
Yeah, no, I was very and I contribute this, maybe just this drive that he has, especially that day, from him having to pretty much run the show, is that he's worked for shitty promoters.
Mhm.
He knows, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't treat your talent this way, just make sure the show gets started on time and gets done on time and everything gets broken down how it's supposed to be broken
When they
down.
said no intermission, I was like, thank God.
I'm at first, it depends because the front half of that show, like a lot of wrestling shows, they rely on that intermission to sell merch.
That's a good point.
So
yeah.
if you're in the first, say it's an 8-show it's an 8-match show, that first 4 matches, whoever's in that first 4 matches, that intermission, they can sell, all their other stuff. It does suck for the people later in the show because they go out during intermission, nobody's seen them yet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Eric Corvus told me this because I remember the last show I was at before this. I went out there during intermission and I'm just trying to sell some 8x10s. And he's like, so you're probably not going to sell anything. Nobody's seen you yet. And I'm like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
And then that was also the show I had to run out of there because of the band show. So I couldn't sell anything. But yeah,
that show did pretty well for merch from what I've seen. Like a lot of people were going up afterwards, and
except for the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's another thing. Like, a lot of people depend on that intermission to sell merch and stuff for the kids.
Yeah, it's a good call.
But I did kind of like the way that they had this one set up too, where it was like, since it was such a kid-oriented show, that like there was still.
I mean, if you want to say those kids were bad.
Holy shit, dude. Okay.
Bro, you literally wrestled in front of like, when they take all the bad kids in Pinocchio and stick them on an island?
They're all the donkeys.
That's literally what you wrestled in front of.
All these little donkey kids. Let me tell you. I was all these donkey kids. Listen, when I was coming out, I was like, all right, what can I say? Like, these kids don't know who I am. I'm coming out in a kilt. They're like, oh, he's wearing a skirt, whatever. What can I say to these kids to piss them off or whatever like that? And I'm just like, you're stupid. You're ugly. I hope you get detention all year. I hope you go to summer school. Like,
they're like, yeah, we did all that already.
Yeah, stupid, weird shit. And I'm sitting in the ring, and I'm standing in the ring waiting for Vinny to come out. And I got these kids to the right of me being like, oh, nice fucking bald head, you piece of shit. And I'm like,
they're cursing 100%.
Yeah. Where are your parents?
Right next to them. They didn't care.
Yeah. I was like,
Jersey, baby.
Yeah. South Jersey. That's what it is.
Bro. So
Alabama, New Jersey down there sometimes.
They did a spot. Leo did a spot with Jada Key where he took him around to have the whole crowd like chop him.
Yeah.
And dude, these kids weren't chopping. Like these kids are members of a boxing academy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so like that boxing thing, a lot of those kids are like, I don't want to say I think they might be like maybe like troubled youth who are brought in to become better.
They're training.
These kids were teeing off. They were teeing off. Jay got hit in the ribs. Like, I think I broke my ribs. Get me out of here. They were pulling Pete Corvus's hair when he hit the guardrail. Like, they were kicking the shit out of people.
Well, that's the thing. So like when they came back and they were like, hey, these kids are beating the shit out of us, I knew not to go close to that guardrail when I was talking all the shit and stuff to people. But,
they were swinging off. They had to stop the one, like after the one match, they had to make an announcement to stop throwing things in the rings because they were throwing stuff in the ring.
Horrible kids, these kids.
But I'll tell you what, it was a fun show.
It was a lot of fun. Those kids were hot from the get-go. They were popping for everything.
There was no seats. Every chair from like second, third, every chair became just they crammed against the guardrail.
That whole crowd was hot the entire show, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
but like, they're just horrible. Like this, there was
Philly Mike super kicked the girl in the match, and he went out to use the bathroom, and a bunch of people were like, "Yo, Mike!" Like these little kids surrounded Philly Mike, like, "You like to hit girls, bro? You like to hit girl?" Like they were squaring up on him. He's like, "Yo, these kids are crazy."
Well, that's one thing, man. With intergender wrestling, like you kind of you're kind of walking a fine line a little bit.
Well, it wasn't even intergender wrestling. He just came in and interfered, but he super kicked the shit out of the girl, and the kids were like, "You like to hit girls?" Like they were like gonna fight him. Yeah.
No, because that's somebody was saying something to me, and like, because for a second, I thought of like intergender wrestling and stuff. Like some of the matchups are like Tessa Blanchard versus Sami Callihan.
Anybody in the world, though. Yeah.
But there was one of my buddies said something to me that kind of resonated, and I it made me rethink things a little bit. And it was kind of like, intergender wrestling is cool for wrestlers, like, and for smart marks and smart fans and stuff like that, and people
Yeah.
who are super dedicated to wrestling. But there's a difference in opinion when it's you got people that are like, you've got like a battered wife and like a kid that's gone through something traumatic like that at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you've got a guy beating the crap out of a girl in the middle of a ring. And yeah, sure, it's wrestling, it's in the middle of a ring, but you don't think about it in a way where
Usually.
maybe to them it's trauma, it's bringing back a trauma where, like, some kid used to watch his dad beat the fuck out of his mom or something like that, or some
Yeah.
mom is a survivor of spousal abuse or some shit. So like some of the times when it's like, oh, it's cool, it's intergender wrestling, and sometimes it's like, some of you dudes are hitting chicks harder than you hit the boys, and it's kind of showing, and it's kind of a little fucked up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely.
But that's just me. You know what I mean? Like,
No, absolutely. I'm personally a fan of intergender wrestling. I like it. I can see how you said like how like wrestling fans like it, but maybe outside wrestling fans or
yeah,
mainstream
like
wrestling fans don't.
I feel like it's those type of matches are reserved for a crowd that is going to be like only giant wrestling fans. Like
Yeah.
like an intergender match isn't something for like a local, like, oh, we're running at a local VFW for a Toys for Tots or something like that. We're gonna have an intergender match,
Yeah.
and then you've got all these kids
And it
watching.
sucks too because a lot of these girls who wrestle, they may be the only one girl on the roster and they can't do anything but a
Yeah,
mixed match. You know what I mean?
that's also super true. I mean, like, there's a lot of promoters that straight up just don't book girls for whatever reason, and like
So,
some
well,
girl,
you have girls who are legit trained and they're badasses and they can
yeah,
work dudes, and then you have a girl who just I'm not trying to be mean, but she's more like the old school '90s diva where she's not
mhm,
really good in the ring, but she can sell an 8x10.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you've
Yeah,
got her getting super kicked in the face, and it's like, come on, guys, like,
or you have her work a girl who knows how to work, and then they have a horrible match, and then the other girl's not
well,
taking it like, yeah,
well, there's also that.
yeah, and then the
But
one girl's like, what's happening? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
but you'd rather see two girls beating the crap out of each other than some dude laying in on some chick that's,
yeah,
that's just me. That's just how I
no,
see it.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Um, let's shift gears a little bit here because we are getting close to that 50-minute
Oh,
mark.
yes.
What a great conversation.
Oh, thank
This is,
you.
and listen, this is not the last. I always tell my guests this is not the last time. I would love to have you on again and
Yes.
definitely catch up. But let's shift gears into the music here.
Mm.
What do you play in bands? What instruments can you play? And
Ooh.
how did you get into this music scene?
So I've been playing guitar for 2 decades.
There it is.
I've been playing guitar for 2 decades.
You're twice as awesome than you are in your wrestling career.
That is 100% honest and true. Yes. I am a much better musician than I am a wrestler. So no, I was my uncle Ricky, who had passed away when I was like 16, but him and my dad were very musical, and they both had guitars and stuff, and they would play and everything. And my dad would play his guitar for me, and my uncle would play his guitar for him. And I always wanted to play, and I was always very interested in like figuring out how everything's works.
You
And
self-taught?
no, so I did go to lessons from probably like on so from so 12, 13, 14, I was maybe on and off. Like, I wasn't sure, wasn't really committed, blah blah blah. And then I want to say like 14, 15, 16, 17, I went to lessons. And like I was more and this, we didn't have YouTube where all these kids are learning how to do all this crazy shit, but like, and I'd go to a classically trained guy and I'm like, no, just teach me how to play Metallica.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, fine.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
So yeah. And when I went to high school, I had met a couple buddies that were trying to get bands together and everything. And the first high school I went to, they had a music club after school. So you'd go, and the guy that ran it was very into Fish. So it became like a very like kind of like jam bandy kind of thing. But it's something that you don't get to learn otherwise. And I didn't realize that until I was older, that like learning how to play off people and learning how to jam.
It's
Is it
kind of like in pro wrestling where you
yes.
learn how to script a match and how
Hmm.
to just call it in the ring.
Yes.
Like
100,
jam band is just like
100%.
you're hearing it by ear. You're like, oh, he's changing chords. He's
Hmm.
dropping down. He's playing this. Like I got to match what he's doing. Like he's
Exactly.
playing this. Yeah.
100%. So like I had been playing guitar at that point for a decent amount, and I played in one. I did like two hardcore bands, metal bands out of like from in high school to out of high school. And then the one band that I was in 2000 and probably like 2010, 2011 was called One Brick Down. And that was probably like the biggest band, like as close to making it as probably as I'll ever get.
One
You know what
brick
I mean?
down to like an awesome Pink Floyd tribute band.
Right. But yeah, so it was One Brick Down, and it was kind of like Sepultura meets Pantera meets like an El Nino type deal. So we were like a 6-piece band. I actually played bass in this band.
6-piece.
Yeah. So I played bass in this band, 2 guitars, singer, drummer, and then we had a Latin percussionist to do like congas and timbales and bongos and stuff. So that was awesome. And we did really well for a couple of years. And then it kind of fell apart. I was the youngest in the band, and a lot of the guys were kind of like, hey, life's kind of catching up with us. We need to, make some changes. Work's getting in the way, families and stuff. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't want to give up. So it is what it is. And I just kind of, they split up, and I went to look for other bands, and I just ended up doing cover band stuff, like bar cover bands. And I played in a band called Newborn Kings for 7 years. We put out an album. That was the one that happened right before, right when I quit wrestling. And it did okay locally, like us, like, selling CDs at shows and everything like that. But we got no like radio play, and we didn't get any, like, we didn't really just sell that well on iTunes or anything. And then, so a wee bit of drama. Um, my buddy Dan was a bass player in a different band called Day One. Their guitar player was leaving, and he was like, hey, would you mind filling in for this show? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I told Newborn Kings about it. They were fine as far as I knew. And I played the show. Next day, I got a text from Newborn Kings saying, like, maybe it's better off we split ways and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, the fuck? And then I guess they took it as, since the band's in the same town, as a competition type deal. Like, you're going to be taking gigs away
Territory
from us.
days.
Yeah, it's very,
See how
very
wrestling and music are right
comes
there.
right back around. Territory shit. So,
Yeah.
so I joined Day One after they kicked me out, and I was doing Day One I'm still doing Day One. And then I want to say within like the last year, like I've made up with the dudes from Newborn Kings, and now it's like every so often Newborn Kings would have a show. They're like, hey, you want to come play? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Fucking make $100 for the night.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so now I play guitar in Newborn Kings and Day One. And Saturday I have Newborn Kings, and in 2 weeks I have a Day One show. So
Do you prefer playing in cover bands or original bands?
if it's a heavy fucking adrenaline energy original band, I'd do that 100%, because that fucking dopamine high, even if it's just for 25 minutes, a half an hour, just playing just a crazy heavy set and watching everybody fucking beat the shit out of each other in front of you while you're
Killing each
playing.
other.
Dude, it's I miss it so much. I wish, like, I every so often I think of like trying to get a couple of my old buddies back together and like just do something heavy. Even if we won't, hey, let's just write 5 songs that's enough for a set and just only play those 5 songs just to do something.
My one buddy's band, they're heavy, and then for like a Halloween show, they did It was kind of like all the bands in the area got together and they either mix and match members
Mm,
according to who likes what style, or
okay.
they just stayed together as a band, but they all picked a certain band to cover. So the
Yes,
whole set list was one band.
that's
So
awesome.
like the one group of guys did all like a whole My Chemical Romance, the one did all Weezer, and then the other one did A Day to Remember.
That's
And it
awesome.
was just like, and the whole place just like a pit opened up because it was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it was.
We
I love dive bar music and when
dude,
bands go up
there
and
was
play together.
this every year at this place called Big Shots. I'm a part of a production company called Futuristic Feels. And every year we put on uh a benefit for Chester Bennington's wife's
Mm,
uh her charity.
yeah.
But we do the first and second Linkin Park albums in full. We do like all Linkin Park themes, and then we'll do maybe like 5 or 6 from the later albums, like from like Minutes to Midnight and Thousand Suns and stuff like that.
Linkin Park is that well, Linkin Park and Blink-182
Mm,
were the first bands that I found on my own. Like, you
no
know,
shit.
like when your parents are like, "These are my music," and you
Yeah.
listen to what I like. I was like, "All right," like I listened to this, and then I came across Blink and I came across Linkin Park,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is me. This is me."
Yeah.
Dude, those Linkin first 2, 3 Linkin Park albums were instrumental.
Exactly.
As someone who struggles with a lot of, like, depression, anxiety, never
Yeah.
feel like I'm fitting in, man, Chester and Mike's lyrics
For real.
together are amazing.
And yeah, so yeah, every year, probably like either beginning of August or like maybe like late July, beginning of August, we do this big Linkin Park show as a benefit for Chester's charity thing. And we packed them, dude. It's like it's so I guess it kind of gives you that kind of fulfillment, like gives me that fulfillment a little bit. Like if I had a heavy band again and like seeing everybody go crazy and shit. Like a bar band can only give
I
you
know
so
so
much.
many of Mike Shinoda's lyrics to those songs, like, by heart.
Like a bar band can give you so much, like if in a bar band you feed off the crowd,
Mhm.
right? So if there's no crowd there, you're kind of just like, all right, I guess I'll play Wonderwall. Like it's you get kind of
Yeah,
bored and stuff. And especially if you're doing a 2-set night or a 3-set night, sometimes that at last set, you're just like, I just want to fucking go home.
yeah,
And then some nights it's fucking, you're like, I don't want to stop playing ever because this crowd's amazing.
yeah.
And every Linkin Park show has been fucking.
You need to let me know when that next one
I
happens.
definitely,
I would
I
love to.
definitely will, dude.
I
It's
I I might get drunk and come up and fucking steal the
that's,
microphone.
dude. It gets fucking packed. Everyone's singing their fucking lungs out. You can't mosh
So
because it's still technically a bar, but
yeah, good. I'm too old for that.
yeah, my
So
knees.
yeah, yeah. So I had tickets. So when Blink-182 and Linkin Park
Oh
did
fuck.
they did 2 shows. One was gonna be in New York and one was gonna
Yeah,
be in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
yeah.
The week of the Hershey, Pennsylvania tours when we lost Chester.
Fuck.
I was devastated. And then 2 or 3 years ago, we went to Vegas for my and for our honeymoon that we never had, like a
Oh
honeymoon
fuck yeah,
a year later honeymoon. It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been to Fremont Street.
No.
So Fremont Street is the old strip. So the strip that we all know now in Vegas is the new
Okay.
strip. And then the original strip is Fremont Street. And there's a giant light board that's like 8 blocks long or
Yeah.
4 blocks long, whatever it may be. And they play like all night long, there's like light shows and stuff
Yeah.
going on. And then usually on the hour of every hour, they'll
Yeah.
like dim everything on the entire strip and they'll do
Yeah.
like a light show, music show, or a
Yeah.
concert type deal. And
Yeah.
they'll do like Kings of Leon and they'll play
Yeah.
like the same 6 ones. The lights go out, and for some reason, everyone's just walking and just hustle and bustle
Yeah.
up and down the strip, and all you hear is just the piano, bum, bum, bum,
Oh
bum,
fuck
bum.
yeah.
Dude, the entire place stopped.
Yeah.
Everyone stopped and just stared at the board.
Yeah.
Thousands of people just
Yeah.
stopped moving and listen and watched the entire Linkin
Oh
Park
man.
thing. It was the most moving moment. Like, I was literally on the strip
Yeah,
like
dude. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like during the Linkin Park show with us, we fucking there was a we I told them we probably shouldn't have done it. Cause I was like, let's keep everything upbeat like as much as we can and like not but we decided to play One More Light. and fucking the entire place just like started crying.
Dude, well, how about when they did the show after he passed away and they did In the End,
and yeah, they didn't
and the
sing
whole crowd
anything.
sang it. The
Yeah.
whole crowd, yeah.
Oh man.
So
But
so powerful.
a quick thing, I guess, because we're getting. Well, I mean, I'll just keep talking. I don't know how late
Yeah.
you want to go, but so you mentioned Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I got an extra gig for WWE
Okay.
in February, I want to say. And it's in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And it was me and GKM riding together. We get there and there's a couple other like Wrestle Pro guys and stuff like that. And we're kind of sitting around and we're like, they're like, I don't know if we're going to use you guys tonight. We don't know what's going on. I'm like, all right. And then they're like, all right, we need like 80 of you. And we're all fucking like, pushing each other out of the way, whatever. And we got chosen to be in the contract signing for Brock and Roman when he's got all the security standing in the ring and shit like that. And it was so fucking cool. And then, so they're going over it and Brock's like, all right, I'm going to throw the table. I'm going to throw the table this way. But he's miming throwing the table, but he's still throwing the table and it's still hard as fuck. So he's just like, I'm going to throw the table fucking this. And I'm like, God damn it. So we get to the fucking segment and he launches this table. And if you go back and watch the video, like I'm there and then I'm gone. Like he throws the table and you just see me like this and then I disappear because he hit me so fucking hard with this table.
Just rolled out.
Dude, it was amazing. And so we get done with that one. Fast forward, I think like a month and a half later, we get called to go to Barclays. And so we're at Barclays for SmackDown again. And we get there and Pat Buck comes by and he's like, guys, probably not going to need anybody tonight. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And then Michael Hayes comes by
So sick.
Michael Hayes comes by like 10 minutes later. He's like, we need everybody. We're like, fuck yeah. So we go to the back. We're getting our security shirts on and stuff like that. And they're like, all right, maybe like an hour or two goes by where we're getting ready for whatever segment's coming up. And they explain it to us. They're like, all right, Brock's going to come out. He's going to go stand on the announce table. You guys are going to run out. He's going to grab a chair. And then he's just swinging. And we're like, oh, fuck. And then so Brock comes up to us while we're in the back. And he's going over. He's like, all right, who wants to? He's like, they're giving me a chair. It is what it is. So who thinks they can take it? We're all just like, yeah, me. So he picks me, Colton, one of this other guy, Youssef, and
I love Youssef. Youssef the Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Great guy.
I'm trying to get him work everywhere.
Oh, he's amazing.
And then I found the other dude, the telemarketer guy, the tech support.
Steve.
I fucking love tech support,
dude.
Steve.
I'm actually he actually asked me to work on his theme song. I've been kind of like touching.
Oh my God. He literally, we were backstage and I was like, can I just, I kind of broke down his character and asked him more. And then I found that he's part of the Youssef universe. Like he works for the Barbarian.
Yes.
Yeah. And
the Barbarian support.
Yeah. The Barbarian tech support. And then I said to him, like, wait, who's in the, because they just threw him in. I'm like, wait, you're in the match with Steve Off. He goes, yeah. I'm like, I'm good. He goes, what? I'm like, you're a tech support guy and you're working a guy named Off. I'm going to say, have you tried to turn it on and off again? And he's like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. So I kind of snuck that in and like, have you updated Windows? Like I was trying to throw all that stuff in, but he's so entertaining. Oh, yeah. I told him he reminds me of Luigi Primo. When Luigi Primo is backstage, obviously he's just normal and he talks and he's cool. But as soon as he's in front of crowds, he puts that like, and that's what tech support Steve does. Yeah, like tech support Steve, like he just starts freaking out. He puts the scowl on, and I'm just like, dude, you're in character. Like I love it. Like that. Like I don't know. I really like the character, and I think when more people see that, he's gonna get over.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But like I was saying, so we go to do the thing, and we run out there, and Brock's on top of the table. He's got the chair, and we didn't talk about how he's getting off this fucking table. So it's just like, all right. See how this goes. And next thing I know, there's a fucking boot coming towards my chest. and we're fucking rocking. And he just starts fucking chairs everywhere. And he fucking hits me again, and he hits me another time, and he goes over, he hits Youssef twice on the ramp. He comes back, he gets a brand new chair, and he's just like, who wants another? I'm like, oh, I guess I'll get up. And he gives me another one. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, the things I will do for this business.
You've been beat up twice by Brock. That's sick.
And the first time, I remember that. So the first time when we were going out to do it, Vince walked by. And Vince goes, don't let Brock give you any shit.
Yeah, right,
like,
Vince.
Sure. But it's, dude, like, stuff like that's like a once in a, to me, that was something that I thought was once in a lifetime, and it happened twice in 2 months.
Yeah. I asked Leo this question when you're backstage at AEW or WWE. Like, is it like in your brain, you're like, I would be like Mark moment, like, oh my God, look who's like right next to me in catering. But like the whole time you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool about this.
Well, the first time I did it, we didn't get used. Nobody got used except for Leo. That was actually the day that Leo wrestled Omos.
Yeah.
So we were all there in the back that day when he did that. I was smiling like a kid in a fucking candy store.
Yeah,
I was just everywhere. I was like, oh my God, look where we are. This is amazing. And funny story, I accidentally crop dusted Liv Morgan.
Love that.
Yeah. I didn't know that anybody was coming around the corner. I was just like, oh, this fart's really got to I really got to get rid of this. And I farted, and next thing you know, Liv Morgan comes around the corner. I'm just like, hi. And I said hi because I knew then she would say hi and not be able to inhale. So I think I saved myself, right?
Yeah.
That's a prestige move right there.
Yeah. Listen, where else would you learn this information on the ABJ podcast? You know,
right?
How getting beat up by Brock Lesnar and crop dusting Liv Morgan.
Yes, if you're ever gonna fart in someone's vicinity, make sure you say hi to them so they can talk and not breathe it in.
There you go. That is a pro move right there. I remember when Leo took the power bomb into the cage by Wardlow, and he fell in between the cage.
Never to be seen again.
I was like, he's dead. He's dead.
He went into a fucking another universe.
I was like, no. The next day is when he worked Shore Star. And I was like, are you good? He goes, that was crazy. So when he first, I don't know if you ever see the video he made when he first won the belt, like when. Like he crowned himself in Rio. So he made a video like, I'm crowning myself the champion in Rio, but I have to go beat somebody to make it official.
Yeah.
And then he found this guy on the side of the road picking up trash with like a safety vest on. That was me.
That's fantastic.
It's the only bump I've ever taken in wrestling, and I took in the kneecapitation by Leo, and he pinned me, and I never sold. I never taken a bump. Like, did it look good? He goes, it looked fine. But yeah, I was my only bump in wrestling. I did it for Leo.
Sometimes it's all you need.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I want to thank. Is there anything that we didn't cover you want to get out there?
I think we got a decent amount of shit. I mean, like
I definitely want to have you back because we can definitely talk longer.
Yeah, there's so much things we could talk about.
If anyone has anything in the chat that they want to ask before we get out of here, please ask it, and we'll get your questions in. If it's your first time, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit that 1K. I know that's a long way away, but even if we could hit like 500, 400,
subscribe.
Hit that subscribe. Leave a review if you're listening back on any social media platforms.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, smash it.
And smash
all social media. You can find me in my links below, as well as Lucas's links.
Fucking smash it.
Did you see Brock on Pat McAfee? Did you watch that interview?
Yeah, Austin.
Or he's just like, he smashes the table. He's like, I dare somebody.
I dare someone to jump the barricade.
Bro, I fell in love with him. This whole last run of Lesnar, I'm a mega fan.
Like, when I was there, and like when we were doing this stuff with Brock, and he was a good brother. Yeah. It was because you always heard like shit like dirt sheet stuff, and you're like, oh, Brock's a fucking dick and stuff backstage, and blah, blah. And I go there, and he's shaking all of our hands. Hey guys, thank you, great job out there. We're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? He's a nice guy.
Yeah. There is some. I would say the experiences I've had in wrestling, meeting people, there's a few people who are just like standoffish, who don't give a shit who they're around, and then there's some people who are just absolute sweethearts. It's just, I guess it's how much the wrestling business has made you bitter.
I wouldn't say that. It's just who you are as a person. Because like,
there's some vets I met who like I would go up and just say hi. Like Even at
Yeah.
the like a con, I'm like, hey, I'm just hosting.
Yeah.
How you doing? And they're just
Yeah.
like,
Like just
give me the get away from me face. I'm like, cool, thanks. You've been
yeah.
my hero my whole life, and you couldn't even say hi to me.
Never meet your heroes. No,
Yeah.
so for me, like I was always pretty pessimistic, and I was always pretty kind of not standoffish, but like an introverted extrovert. Like I like going out, but I like to be left alone. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So like, especially even like shows and stuff, like and like band stuff. Like, we take a break between sets. I take a walk. I if my girlfriend's not there to like hang out with and just like have beers with, and I don't want to be bothered, go outside so no people just leave me alone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Hey, when you playing next set? You playing any Bon Jovi? No, go fuck yourself. Like
Yeah. Actually, I'm playing all Bon Jovi next set.
only
So,
Bon Jovi.
so
This
you're
is
in for a treat, and then never
yeah.
play a second of Bon Jovi.
Just for you, we're playing the discography the
Yeah.
entire next set.
That's
Yeah,
what I would say.
we're playing Slippery When Wet all 3 sets.
Yep.
Start to finish. No, just like sometimes you just kind of want to be left alone, but like I've kind of gotten like a lot better at just kind of like just hanging out and just being nice, just being nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's if you smile at somebody, they smile back.
Mhm.
And whatever mood they're in, they fucking change their mood. Just be a nice fucking person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, well that'll wrap it up here for the episode 9 of the ABJ podcast. Lucas, thank you once again for doing this. I had an absolute blast. It's crazy, like last minute replacement interview. We had maybe a 5-10 minute conversation backstage at Short Star, and it led to probably one of my longer interviews. Then we probably could have gone another hour. No questions asked.
We could definitely keep going.
Yeah, we're 2 ADHD kids that love music and professional wrestling.
Yes.
We didn't even get into probably nerdum stuff that we're into.
No, not at
We'd
all.
be here all day. But
Oh
I
yeah,
had
no. Power Rangers, the fucking Power Rangers
Yep.
and stuff, and
I
JDF.
don't have my jacket here, but I have a jacket I rock, and it's covered in patches, and
Yeah.
from shoulder to shoulder is the original members of the Power Rangers, and then right on my breast, like on the back
Yeah.
part, like on the side, is the
Yeah.
green and white Ranger.
Oh, dude, if you want to look this up after we get done with this, I used to make videos on YouTube when YouTube was like brand new of just doing Goldar's voice, but saying horrible things, overdubbing it in old Power Rangers episodes.
You remember
the Power Rangers?
You remember the old Ninja Turtle redubs?
Oh,
I can't say what they
yes.
were called.
Yeah.
Or like the X-Men ones where people
Yep.
dub like, bitch, who you think I am? I'm the
Yeah,
Juggernaut. Like
or,
I gotta love those.
The G.I. Joes, pork chop
Yeah.
sandwiches.
So good. But thank you so much. We
No
definitely
problem,
have to do this again. You are on the list to come back. Please, people that I work for that listen to this, book this man. He
Book
is
me.
so much fun.
Book me too.
Listen,
Wrestle
I'm
or
trying to
play
get
music. Either one.
Yes, I'm trying so hard to get more of the Jersey people who I think are absolutely gems in this business to get more opportunities in like PA and all these other
Awesome.
places, because you guys are so good down there, and I feel like
Thanks,
more
man.
people need to understand what's happening in Jersey. And I could literally sit here all day and rattle them all off. Like, just watch Short Star Wrestling. That whole roster just top notch. But thank you again.
No
We'll close out of here. Like once again, like, subscribe, leave a review so we can read it off next podcast. Clips will be coming very soon of this on social media. I have like 4, like every week I do one full week of just the clips from another episode.
Nice.
But so next week will be like, I think episode 5 and then 6. So it'll be a little bit to your clips, but there will be clips coming. I'm a one-man band, so give me some time here.
I got you.
But when the Sanctuary reopens, yeah, we'll get you in the Sanctuary. That'd be cool.
Ooh, what's the Sanctuary?
The Sanctuary is an old church converted into a wrestling studio.
Oh, what?
And it's all like pretty much about safety and getting everything done. But the only problem is they make really no money, so there's no pay. But you get really cool footage, and it's a really cool experience.
I'll do that, and I'll also bring my guitar stuff so I can just say I played in a church.
Yes. And then after Sanctuary, we can go to Pottsville, which is like 30 minutes away, and we'll go to Deppin's Brewery.
Yes. You know what else I want to do? I want to learn how to play the fucking Star Spangled Banner so I can start playing some fucking openings. You know what I mean?
That'd be dope.
Right?
Be dope. But we'll close this one out because we will absolutely keep going. Here's some Billy Trey. We're out of here.